What is your American dream?
I'm from China, and my American dream is to do the works I intended to do in this interesting place and communicate with other people from all over the world.
I'm from India. My American dream is to enjoy this inclusiveness and freedom of America and have fun while it lasts.
I'm from New York, and my American dream is for everyone to be able to make the most of themselves.
I'm from Belgium. The American dream for me, for living in New York, would be ideal to have a house that looks nice but is not too expensive, and work in Manhattan, have a major salary, to have a bit of money at the side for health insurance, because you never know, you might get into trouble.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Now I think I'm ready to go.
Dust them shoulders off.
I was dusting myself off, and I looked up, and there we are. Hello, Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias and the squad. What's going on?
We here. We out here.
Well, we finally made it.
We finally made it.
Yeah, we were chugging and chugging and chugging and chugging, and we finally did it.
We're here.
We is here.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
Fabulous.
Ooh.
With a capital F.
Oh, we like that.
With a capital F, a capital A, a capital B, and the ULIS, all capital also.
Wow.
Exclamation point.
Oh, I like that.
How was your weekend?
Fabulous.
With all capitals?
With all caps.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it very much. I saw you were hanging down a little bit in Baltimore.
And be more, yeah.
How is it down in Baltimore?
Cold.
Cold. I've never actually been to Baltimore.
Yeah, it's cold.
I've driven past it. I've seen the signs going to
Okay.
Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
I've never stopped in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's cold.
What's going on there? Just cold.
Yeah.
It's cold here,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
All right, let's say hello to the squad.
Let's do it.
Mohammed Sadiq, squad up. It's apple pie. I was about to ask what's going on with the timer. Well, we are here now. Denver South, squad up. Carol the Tiger, how are you? Violet Black with Dawn Harriet. Niak Iknum. Good night, y'all. How are you, Enak? Denver South, Jessica Kalimi, she's sharing. Carol the Tiger, Denisha, Joseph joining us. Jay Mindro. Hava what? I don't know.
Supposed to finish it off for.
Yes, okay. Who else we got here? That's it on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook. On YouTube. Esta es mi vuelta.
Ah.
Saying hi, guys. Nikisha Boyd. Anu Chandra Kavar Harris. How are you all? Little light there on.
Little light for the Monday.
There on YouTube today.
Yeah,
I wonder why. I wonder why.
It's gonna go up.
I have a few thoughts of why.
Oh, do you?
I do.
I'm sure you do.
All right, let's go. Yo-Yo, you're up.
Absolutely. All right, squad. You already know what time it is. It's time to share. This is Monday. We have to get the show out. The only way we can get it out is through you guys. So just share it to anybody on all social media platforms, because we're about to start schmoozing with Brad, talking headlines, including the Biden administration's defense of its continuation of the controversial Trump-era public health policy known as Title 42.
I have a public service question announcement, but in the form of a question for you, Yo-Yo.
For me?
For you.
Oh.
It's a question about a public service announcement.
Okay.
It's Apple Pie is crying. She did not hear her name.
Oh.
Did I say her name right up front? I believe I did.
I believe you did.
I really believe I did.
Yes.
Right. She even was talking about the timer.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I remember saying it.
Yeah.
It's Apple Pie.
But it's okay. We can say it again.
It's Apple Pie, in case you missed your name in roll call. Squat up, apple pie. Squat
There
up.
you go. There
All
you
right,
go.
yo, continue.
All right, like we said, we are going to be talking about the continuation of the controversial Trump-era public health policy known as Title 42 that has resulted in the expulsion of more than 1 million migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border. And of course, it is Fuzzy Monday, so get ready, please get ready for some amazing stories about our animal friends, including a goldfish who has been taught how to drive.
Drive?
Yes, I said.
Goldfish is driving a car?
At first we said orangutan was driving.
This goldfish is driving a car?
This goldfish is driving a car, and I did not believe it until I saw the video.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. I will be showing this to my son later.
Yeah.
Okay, because the goldfish is able to drive, and he's turning 21, still didn't get his driver's license yet. I go, what's wrong with these millennials?
That's a New Yorker for you, though.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need to drive.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
You
he doesn't need to drive.
But he lives in Cali
He
now.
lives in Cali. He still doesn't need to drive.
Yeah, you definitely need
He got a little scooter he drives around on in Cali, but he won't get a driver's license. I go, why?
Wow.
I go, now this fish could even drive.
This
I
is
said,
a
this is
the perfect joke.
my 21-year-old son doesn't have a license yet.
This is the perfect. I think he's going to be.
I'm going to have to show him. I go, even the fish.
He's going to have to.
I said, even the fish is doing it.
At first, we had the orangutan driving.
Yeah.
That was one thing. It's like, okay, we've seen Planet of the Apes, so we're kind of used to seeing stuff like that. But now goldfish is driving, bro. You better start driving out there.
But a lot of kids these days don't want to drive anymore.
That's crazy to me.
I don't get it.
Because now my generation, we was like, immediately.
My generation, I mean, the day I turned 17, I'm like, keys, Dad.
Man.
Where are the keys to the car?
We actually had the permit training at school, like in our high school. We took that for one of our summer classes.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
When you turned 17, you were like, Dad, keys, please.
Brad, 16.
Oh, 16 you were driving.
For 15 for a permit, 16 for a license.
In Cali?
Yeah, back when, I don't know if it's the same now.
In 17, it was New York is 17.
I was ready. I had my permit at 15. I was not playing. I was ready to go to work.
And by the way, you can give us a ring at the bottom. It's 1-800-529-5465. That's the number to call to get on our show. We do have open lines right now, so if you call, you will get on our show. You can also call internationally, +1 212-227-8933 if the 1-800 number doesn't work. Of course, it's also the telephone number to our law office. So if you want to give us a buzz at our law office, it's going to be the same telephone number, 1-800-529-5465. And later in the show, we're going to hear the second part of my discussion with Alejandra Juarez and her husband, Temo. Now, Alejandra was deported to Mexico back in 2018 under Donald Trump's zero-tolerance policy, despite being married to a United States Marine, having had 2 U.S. citizen children and no criminal record. Alejandra returned to America in May of 2021 after being granted humanitarian parole. We spoke to her about her case, how her deportation affected her family, and what her next steps are going to be. But right now, Yo-Yo, as they say somewhere, I don't know where they say this. Say it somewhere. Better late than never. It's schmoozing time,
All
right?
We say that here.
We say that here all the time. Better late than never. So one of the things we talk about all the time about how we thought Biden was going to be more equitable to immigrants and immigrant rights. But one of the things that was actually one of the worst things that Donald Trump did was a public health authority known as Title 42, which basically invoked at the onset of the coronavirus pandemic the ability of Border Patrol to swiftly remove all migrants at the southern border that's encountered by the U.S. southern border, effectively barring them from even applying for asylum under the guise of we're not allowing anybody in because of COVID. Well, during a court hearing today, the Biden administration, last week, the Biden administration defended the use of a controversial Trump-era policy that resulted in the expulsion of more than 1 million migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border, arguing that it was necessary to avoid the transmission of COVID. The Justice Department Attorney Sharon Swingle told a 3-judge panel, under the Title 42 order, these non-citizens can be rapidly screened and then quickly expelled, substantially reducing the risk of harm. Now, the proceedings stem from a lawsuit filed last January when the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, and others challenged this Trump-era policy. This is a Trump policy that is effectively barring millions of people from applying for asylum because potentially they could be carrying COVID.
Right.
Okay. Now, perhaps there would have been an argument at the onset of the pandemic when we didn't have vaccines,
right,
when we didn't have even testing ability. Okay. Now they're sending tests to every American.
Yeah, for free.
For free.
Yeah.
So you're saying we can't test somebody who's applying for asylum?
I mean, at that point, it's
We
just
can't say, okay, you know what? To get a green card, you need to be vaccinated. Guess what? You need to be vaccinated to come and apply for asylum.
Right.
And we'll vaccinate you if you're not.
I would agree with, you know,
Right.
because if the reason why you're not trying to let them in is because of the spread of COVID, then giving a solution to, you know, limit that, you know, I would be here for that.
So we're going to see what the judge says, but it's very interesting that Biden, this is like one of the most draconian measures that Trump put into effect for immigration. And it was interesting that, you know, not so interesting because you would expect it from Trump that he continued it even when there was vaccines, when there's, you know, obvious testing abilities now. But for the Biden administration, 1 year into their administration, they're over a year, still defending this and saying, no, we're going to still continue this. I find that interesting.
Do you feel like it's also because, you know, we do know with this administration, like when he was running for office, he did speak a lot about immigration, but he also spoke a lot about COVID too, and trying to limit, you know, the numbers rising in America. So do you feel like that's one of the reasons why he just kept that?
Well, you know, the reality is that people applying for asylum at the border are not the real carriers of COVID and coming in and infecting everybody. Let me give you some statistics on some of this here. All right. COVID-19 spread and immigration detentions along the border are not very significant in terms of what caused COVID, you know, super spreader events in the United States. Dr. Carlos Franco Paredes, he's an associate professor of medicine at the University of Colorado, said in an email to USA Today that there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that this is even a true statement that immigrants are spreading from Central America. And the reason is that they're able to figure out, scientists are able to figure out where the different variants are coming from. And even the initial wild variant, the Alpha, the Beta, the Delta, the Omicron, none of them originated from South America.
Right.
They all originated from either South Africa, Europe, India. But right now, Europeans can come in with a vaccination.
Right.
Okay, but you can't apply for asylum with a vaccination. Now, the funny thing, ironic thing, or sad thing, or whatever you want to say about it, Jonathan, is when you apply for asylum, you're basically saying, come here, we will give you protection from something that may kill you. Whatever it is that you're applying for asylum.
Right.
Okay, but obviously you're fleeing for your life. Okay, and now we're saying we're not going to allow the person in who's fleeing for their life because, you know, potentially they could infect us with COVID.
Yeah.
When the reality is that we have all the preventive measures in place to prevent that from happening.
Right.
Testing, vaccines. So to me, I find it extraordinarily ironic, sad, double standard.
Very much so.
Yeah. The CDC is saying that it's international travel, not migration, that's playing a key role in bringing the variants to the United States. And this Dr. Carlos Franco Paredes says, I'm sure that there is some transmission at the border, but it's not the only route. People are traveling much easier these days. There's multiple manners in which coronavirus reaches the U.S. soil.
That makes
And
sense.
so, in other words, every time a plane lands, they could potentially be bringing in coronavirus.
Yeah.
But we're allowing planes to land, but we're not allowing people to apply for asylum.
Yeah.
Seems like a double standard to me. Especially the people on a plane are just coming to visit, and the people on asylum are really skipping for their lives.
Yeah. Right.
And you saw last week the voting rights did not pass.
Yes.
Yes. Joe Manchin and Senator Kristen Sinema, a Democrat from Arizona, Joe Manchin, Democrat from West Virginia. They are the two most conservative
Democrat. Quote
unquote.
quotes.
Oh, I thought you were giving the devil's side.
No, those two. I said Democrat.
Oh, I thought you were like, oh, they're the devil.
That too.
Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, the most conservative members of the Democratic caucus. They needed all 50 senators to pass the end of the filibuster to allow a vote on voting rights. And Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema did not vote in favor of eliminating the filibuster. The effort by the Senate Democrats to change the filibuster came after Republicans once again were blocking all the voting rights bills from even coming for a vote. Why? Because Republicans don't want everybody to vote. Because if everybody is given a fair opportunity to vote, the Republicans will lose.
Right.
There's a lot more people ultimately who would be Democrat over Republican. But Republicans figure out ways to limit people's ability to vote, put roadblocks, barriers, and these voting rights bill would have opened up those barriers, would have opened up those roadblocks, and allowed for what should be a freer election.
Yeah.
Because it's not a free election if you're not free to vote.
Right.
If only certain people are free to vote, other people are not. So, listen, from the Republican side, yeah, you want to stay in power, I get it. But at some point, if you want to say you want to be in a true democracy, in a real democracy, you got to allow everybody the same individual right and ability to vote and make it as easy for me to vote as it is for Jonathan to vote and it is for you to vote.
Right.
And if it's harder for you to vote than for me, maybe because you can't get off your work, maybe because you can't get to the polling place, maybe because the area where you are has very long lines because they don't put a lot of polling places in certain areas, maybe because they make applications difficult for people who may not be as educated as other people to fill out, or make it online, but you can't go online because you don't have an internet connection, or certain documents that some people may not have anymore.
Right.
It goes on and on and on and on and on. Not allowing mail-in. All of those in totality. Individually, they're barriers, but in totality, what it does is it reduces the number of people who are voting. And who is it reducing? It's reducing minorities. It's reducing people in urban areas. It's reducing people who don't have the same education level as others. And as a result, it's suppressing the Democratic vote. It's limiting number of people who would vote, and it's keeping Republicans in power. And here we have two Democrats who could have changed it, and they didn't.
I don't.
And
This is wild.
whether you're Republican or Democrat, at some point, as an American citizen, if you really stand for the Constitution and you really stand for the idea of democracy, that we get to choose who our leaders are, we as each person in the United States of America who has a U.S. passport or is a U.S. citizen gets to choose who our federal leaders are. If you stand by that, and one man, one woman, one person, one vote, and everybody has an equal say in how we live and how we are ruled and who our rulers are going to be, that's a democracy.
Yeah.
And if you're limiting that, it's something less.
Yeah.
So, and here we have two Democrats who could have made a big difference in the history of the United States. And they said, we're not going to give people one vote, one person, because we like this rule of a filibuster in the Senate. That's important to keep the procedures in place in the Senate. And yes, it could be important to keep the procedures in place in the Senate, but I think it's certainly extraordinarily more important to give one person one vote the same.
I agree.
If you're weighing the two, a procedure that is put in place in the Senate that has a long history versus giving every person the opportunity to vote equally and fairly, I don't think there's much of an argument there what they should have done.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, Biden is 0 for I don't know what now. He's 0 for something. I've lost count.
Yeah.
In baseball, there was a famous... You know anything about baseball?
No.
Okay. So in baseball, if you have a batting average below 200, you're
trash.
You're trash.
Yeah.
You shouldn't even be playing baseball. You should be
That I do know.
Find a new sport.
Yes.
So they call it the Mendoza line.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but well before
whoever
I was born,
Mendoza
whoever
was.
Mendoza was he didn't go down as he didn't go down as Hank Aaron. Let me explain, right? He didn't go down as Babe Ruth, all right?
He wasn't getting the Jackie. He wasn't getting the Jackie Robinson.
No, he didn't go down as Jackie Robinson. He went the other way.
Yikes.
He went as like the worst.
Yeah.
So whenever anyone says you're hitting below the Mendoza line,
Woo.
you're pretty bad.
Yeah,
and I have to say, if Joe Biden was a baseball player,
would he be?
I think he's hitting below the Mendoza line right now.
That's hard.
He's hitting below. They'd kick him out.
Man,
oh man. And in coronavirus news, to get to coronavirus news, the U.S. has reported. It doesn't matter what the U.S. is reporting. Worldwide, it doesn't matter what the world is reporting anymore.
It really doesn't.
I have a meme. Did I ever show you this meme I have? Talking about sports.
What is it?
There's one of the fights between Frazier and Ali. I don't know. It could have been the Thrill in Manila. Who knows? One of the Frazier Ali fights. There was a couple of them, and Ali's against the ropes. Frazier, boom, 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 and Ali's boom, boom. Missed like 10 times. And the meme says, and Frazier's like really, like boom, boom, and Ali's moving around, misses all 10 times.
Yeah.
And the meme says, the last person on Earth who hasn't got a coronavirus yet.
Right.
I mean, everybody's got,
Yeah.
So
I can't even imagine that happening.
Right. I mean,
everybody's gonna get it.
Everybody's gonna get
Yeah.
it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just hopefully you're vaccinated.
Right.
So if you do get it, you won't get it that you would be hospitalized, or it would be unlikely that you would be hospitalized.
Right.
I mean, I don't remember what I saw. The statistic was like, if you're vaccinated and get COVID versus not, you're something like 90% less chance of being hospitalized.
A big percentage.
It's like a huge difference in percentages.
Yeah.
I don't get how people are like saying, the vaccines don't work. Vaccine isn't meant to prevent you. It doesn't prevent you from getting COVID.
Right.
Vaccine prevents you from dying. Most people who are dying, unfortunately, these days, it's a pandemic of unvaccinated people.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, yesterday, the U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy told CNN that areas got hit hard by Omicron, like New York, are starting to get a little better.
Okay.
Let's celebrate that one.
That usually happens. I mean, remember when the pandemic first happened, New York was really under fire, and we were like one of the first states in the U.S. that actually started getting a lot better, and everybody else was kind of getting worse.
Yeah. But that's with everything. Even with when the Delta came, it spikes up, then it spikes down.
Right.
Omicron, I don't understand why. And now the big question is going to be and by the way, even the scientists back Christmas said by the end of January it should level off. So, so it spiked up. Everyone was getting Omicron. Now it's going down, starting to go down in New York, apparently, maybe in some other parts of the United States and other parts around the world. Maybe it hasn't reached its peak yet, but it peaks. It's 4, 6, 8 weeks. It peaks and then goes back down.
It makes sense. That's science.
But the big question is going to be,
when's
when's the next one?
Right.
Okay. So far, we've gone A through O. Think about all the different variants: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. About
We didn't go through all those.
Yeah, just some of them just weren't publicized.
Oh.
It's they named the variants like they name hurricanes. It's
Is it, or is it Greek alphabet?
It's Greek alphabet. Maybe the Greek alphabet isn't equal to A through O, but
Right. Yeah, it's not.
It's not. Where does O fall on the Greek alphabet?
When I pledged, that's when I knew the
You knew
Greek
that?
alphabet, but I
Okay.
don't remember Kappa Beta.
Sorry, so maybe-
Kappa Beta Gamma Delta. Yeah,
It's about 10,
Delta,
15 in.
Omicron. Yeah,
It's about 10 into
I
it.
don't know if it's
No,
that
maybe
many
not.
in.
I
It's
don't.
not that many in.
Okay, I never pledged a fraternity.
Beta Gamma Delta.
That's right.
Epsilon.
So we're about 10 in. The point is this, Yo-Yo. The point is we don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
It's 20. Jill is telling me in my ear 24 different variants have come out already in 2
Jeez,
years.
Yeah, Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta.
Oh, 24 what? Oh, there's 24,
24
letters
in the Greek
alphabet.
Alpha,
Okay,
Beta,
we were
Gamma,
just trying to
Delta,
figure out where O
Epsilon,
was.
Zeta, Eta, Theta,
Okay.
Iota, Kappa, Lambda, Mu, Nu, Xi, Omicron.
Okay, so it's
all-
10. It's more than 10 into it,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So the question. So 2 years they've had more than 10 variants. It's kind of like survival of the fittest. It's Darwin's survival of the fittest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just as the variant starts to slow down, the virus mutates so it can go reinfect again.
Right.
So now the big question is going to be two things. One, will it mutate again? When? Maybe it won't mutate for 2 more years. Who knows?
Right.
Or maybe it'll mutate. It's mutating right now.
Right.
And then will this mutation follow the other mutations where it's survival of the fittest, that this mutation becomes stronger than the last one? And what are our vaccines going to be able to do to prevent it? And what about our therapeutics? I don't know. I was at my doctor today. I asked him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he says? Who the hell knows?
Right. Nobody.
Nobody.
Does. I knew a lot of people who was working in the, still are
Nobody
working
knows.
in the. Yeah, they don't know. We're all learning.
Yeah,
together.
nobody knows what's going to happen. Scary, scary, scary stuff, Yo-Yo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scary stuff. All right, let's enjoy ourselves.
Let's get fuzzy.
Let's get fuzzy.
Let's do
We have
it.
some fuzziness. It's Fuzzy Monday, Yo-Yo. It is fuzzy, right?
It is.
All right, so in our first story, Yo-Yo, we've been talking a lot about camels lately.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Turkey held its largest camel wrestling festival. Camels wrestle each other?
That would be scary to me.
That's scary for me to
because they're
watch.
huge.
Yeah, but also, it's like, I don't know. I don't like animals fighting each other.
Mm-mm.
They were competing as part of 80 pairs or 160 camels in the Camel Wrestling Festival, the biggest and most prestigious festival, which celebrated its 40th run. The festival is held in Selçuk, Turkey, and it draws up to 20,000 people to watch the camels wrestle.
Oh, that's huge.
Now, the day before, camels were paraded in a beauty pageant, decked out with colorful beaded muzzles, fabrics, pom-poms, bells, the Turkish flag, and then a jury judged them. And the Camel Wrestling Festival is held during the mating season of camels as the males become more aggressive.
It reminds me of like Miss America, but then like after they do their beauty, they just like wrestle each
just
other.
kill each other, yeah.
that actually would be hilarious.
So winners are rewarded with a mass-produced Turkish carpet. Camels were used in medieval times as pack animals along the Silk Road. Do we have any pictures?
Yeah, this is
won?
them. Like
This is them. I think that's sad in a way. I think camels are nice animals. All right, the community of Turkish camel owners, trainers, and dromedary lovers is still vibrant and competitive, but the festival has become more about expression in modern Turkey. These days, it seems as much about socializing, gossiping, and drinking as it is about the camels battling it out.
Yeah, so it's like a whole festival because I saw like people are like they have musicians, they have the guys dancing and stuff. So it's like a cultural thing. It's turned into.
Let's see what this wrestling is. The animals used in the wrestling events are known as Tulu camels, a breed that results from mating a Bactrian two-humped camel with a one-humped camel. And they're bred specifically for this wrestling competition.
Wow.
The one hump and the two humps. Reminds me of movie Young Frankenstein. You ever see that movie?
No.
Mel Brooks, Young Frankenstein?
Mm-mm.
It's a takeoff on Frankenstein.
Frankenstein,
right?
yes.
And Igor, the
hump
guy, and he's going like this, and he's going like this, and the guy who's playing Frankenstein says, "I can fix your hump." He goes, "What hump?" the whole thing is like read number 3. Now, the camel wrestling festival is held during the mating seasons. A camel wins by making its opponent scream, fall, or retreat, and trainers remain close at hand to ensure neither party is injured.
Okay.
It's 15-minute rounds. That's a long time to wrestle.
Right.
All right, that's a long time to wrestle.
Sheesh.
I've been boxing lately, and in 3 minutes,
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm dead.
tiring.
I can't do it anymore. I'm throwing in the white towel.
Yeah.
I'm done. Meanwhile, let's talk about the goldfish that drives.
Oh, man.
I hope Zach is watching this one.
Send this
boy,
part to him.
boy, don't want to get a driver's license. But meanwhile, this fish is driving. All right, so Israeli researchers created a robotic car on a port that they taught 6 fish to navigate on land. The team has been dreaming up ways to test fish's navigation for a while. The technical term is not really driving, it's domain transfer methodology, which means exploring whether a species can perform tasks outside of its own environment. They drew inspiration from work that taught rodents and dogs to use an automated vehicle to reach a target and previously designed contraption, fish on wheels.
Wow.
So they put a fish in the fish tank and put the fish tank on the wheels. And the only way that this wheels move is when the fish swims and it feels the fish's vibrations of which direction it's swimming, and the car moves in that direction. The fish is really driving the car.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah, the fish is driving the car.
Look.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. So the fish first had to connect their own swimming movements to the movements of the vehicle so they can navigate it. Then they were given a destination, a pink target board in another room, in this room that was not in their original room.
Right.
That when they reached that pink target, they got fed.
Yeah.
And
they working for their meal.
And it took several days, but the fish finally reached the pink target. Then the scientists started putting obstacles in their way.
Wow.
And changed the space where the target is, and changed where the fish was starting from.
That's the pink target.
Yeah,
right
and
there.
the fish was still finding the target.
Yeah. Look at that.
They still found the target. So that's pretty, you think fish don't have a brain.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Sad now. Well,
now you're going to eat a fish. Damn, I was going to have a salmon tonight.
I know.
And now the salmon's got a brain and knows how to drive a car.
Well, at least we know it's just goldfish. We don't eat the goldfish.
I don't eat goldfish.
Yeah.
No. But if this was a salmon driving the car, I would never eat the salmon again.
Yeah, I feel bad.
So by manipulating different variables, the team also showed that the fish used a combination of cues to navigate, including the color and location. Now, however, there are suggestions that fish have rich capacities beyond our own for vision, hearing, tasting, and smelling, and they even appear to use electric signals to communicate with each other. The new study has other ramifications. Maybe, just maybe, we also managed to disprove the stigma around goldfish and their memories.
Right. Aww.
Goldfish are smart.
I know. That was my first pet, too.
Now, when you flush that goldfish down the toilet, how sad is that now when you think about that?
I mean, it's super sad because we had to do that with my goldfishies.
Meanwhile, a Russian photographer captured a series of photos showing polar bears that have taken over an abandoned building.
Whoa.
In September 2021, photographer Dmitry Koch traveled through the islands of Chukchi Sea, a marginal sea at the Arctic Ocean that sits between Russia and Alaska. And Koch writes, being the farthest and most eastern part of the Russian Arctic, this place is very hard to get to, but also difficult to forget. We traveled by yacht along the coast and covered more than 1,200 miles of untouched landscapes, villages lost in time, spots with various fauna, and seas full of life. And he was on a personal mission to photograph polar bears. But Koch said that nature is always sending you something when you least expect it. So we passed through the Kolchuan Island near the northern coast of Choktoka. Now this is way north. Like picture Alaska.
Right.
And picture further north. but on the Russian side.
Yes.
You know, Sarah Palin, that dummy. She's famous for saying, "I can see Russia from Alaska."
Right.
I know
remember
all
that.
about Russia. I can see Russia from Alaska.
I remember
because
that.
it's a small little.
Mm-hmm.
She knows all about Russia.
Sarah Palin.
Yeah, Sarah Palin. So, Coke managed to capture some close-up photographs of the polar bears roaming inside and outside the rundown structure. So, what was this rundown? Oh, so the photographer says that the polar bears have never been observed in this abandoned buildings of the weather station on an island. That's where they were found.
Oh.
Yeah, which was built in the 1930s and abandoned in the 90s. He called the encounter a once-in-a-lifetime situation that he was able to capture with technology and a little bit of magic.
Wow. They're nice
Yes.
pictures, too.
Yeah, very nice. Just don't get too close to them.
That's what I'm about to say, because aren't they kind of like super dangerous? I'm scared of bears.
I'm thinking that
Look so cute though. Look at
Yeah,
that.
I'm thinking the fish. I'm thinking my dogs. They can't navigate in my apartment to even find the kitchen. I gotta be calling them, come. And meanwhile, there's fishes swimming all over the place
Yep.
to get the food. I gotta have a conversation with my dogs. All right. Let's see, what are we going to do? All right, finally, boba. Oh, we're not going to do boba. Oh,
We
I
can
just
do
put
boba.
down. I thought, oh,
We
damn.
fixed boba.
We fixed boba.
Boba is a fun story.
Boba, the service dog.
Yes.
Yes. Goes everywhere with his mom, Tina Lou, including work. He loves being a resident office dog and takes his job very seriously. He's normally the only dog at the office, but recently another dog named Scout started coming by. So Lou wasn't sure how Boba would feel about sharing the duties as office dog. There's not enough room in this office for two dogs.
So this dog is pretty smart.
Yeah. So Lou told the Dodo, I guess is a newspaper, if there's a job to be done, he's going to do it. While unvested and off duty, he's an equal opportunity assistant. He volunteers his services to all. I've seen him nearly push Scout out of the way to return a dropped item to an envelope.
Oh, wow.
He couldn't stop ringing the doggy doorbell himself as they tried to
Superman
teach Scout to ring it one evening. So the first time Boba and Scout spent an entire day together seemed to go well. The pair were playing and getting along. Lou was happy to see Boba sharing his office. She decided to ask him exactly how he felt about having Scout around, but the answer she got wasn't what she expected. What did she expect? Everyone watching, Scout knows how to answer yes or no questions, and he's been doing it for a couple of years now. Lou wrote yes and no on 2 separate sticky notes and placed them on the ground. She first asked Boba if he was a good boy, and he put his paw on the yes sticky. Then, let's watch the video. And then she gestured to Scout and asked Boba if he thought Scout was a good boy too. And this time Boba answered no.
Answer.
We have the video?
Yes, you're a good boy. Okay. All right, listen. You see Scout? There's your buddy Scout. Is Scout a good boy? Can you answer? No, Scout's not a good boy. Do you want Scout to stay here at your warehouse? Listen, do you want Scout at your warehouse? Can you answer?
I was like, no.
That's hilarious.
And the crazy.
Do you want Scout? Are you a good boy?
Look how.
Answer.
Are you a good boy? Look where he.
Yes.
He says yes.
He says yes. He knows. This doggy knows.
That is hilarious.
Oh my God. So this time, so
That's
everyone watching couldn't
hilarious.
stop laughing. I was laughing. That's the first time I saw that. It's
Right.
really funny. So apparently Boba was not super jazzed about sharing his space. So Lou said, the owner, that we were so surprised. They had been playing together for 4 to 5 hours. When I asked Boba about Scout, I couldn't believe they didn't want Scout there. I really thought that Boba was just overexcited, maybe didn't understand what I was asking. But when I repeated the question again 20 minutes later, he gave me the same answer.
Sheesh.
The only funny thing about all of this that I would have to say to Lou, Tina Lou, Boba don't understand you, but it was still a funny video.
Listen.
It was still a funny video.
She says that he does.
He doesn't understand.
She says he does.
No way, no way, no way, no way. All right, it's TikTok time.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, in this moment in TikTok, I'm going to be answering some immigration questions. Let's watch. TPS is temporary protected status. If you qualify, you would get into the TPS program. You would get a work permit, which is valid for either 1 or 2 years, depending on how it's issued to you. You would have to keep renewing it. You're subject to the government ending the TPS program at any time and sending you home. At the moment, there is no application to go from TPS to green card. So if you get TPS, it's TPS and that's it. With the TPS, you get a work permit, you get advanced parole, so you can travel and come back, but it doesn't entitle you to a green card. You would have to be eligible for a green card separately from the TPS, perhaps through marriage or something else. Maybe in the future, the Biden administration changes the law they want to make an amnesty for people who are in TPS, then my answer would change. But at the moment, TPS is TPS and there's no green card from it. Even in COVID times, it's about a year to adjust your status, maybe less, depending on what city and state you live in. But you should get a work permit in about 6 months and figure a green card in 1 year or less. Good luck on your marriage. All right, it's the meat and potatoes time, yo-yo.
Yes, it is.
Meat and potatoes, questions and answers. Call us now, and you got an immigration question? I've got your answer. All right, let's go to Everton and Bridgeport. Everton.
Yes, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Good night.
I'm waiting, Everton.
Yeah, well, I'm asking 2 questions. Well, I come up here 2009, May 9, right? And after 5 years, I got a first arrested. It's just for a little marijuana misdemeanor. I didn't spend no time. I just go to bookings and come out the next day. And then that's around 8 years now, because that happened in 2014. And then I got an next arrested me and my girlfriend.
What happened with the arrest? What happened with the arrest, Everton? Were you found guilty of something?
Well, it was some marijuana.
What were you found guilty of? I'm not interested in all the facts. What were you found guilty of? Do you know?
They charged me for marijuana.
Not what you were charged with, Everton. What were you found guilty of?
Guilty? I never found guilty.
That's what I'm asking you. Were you found guilty of something?
No.
Did you pay a fine?
No, it was no fine. It's just they put me in bookings, fingerprint, that's it. They give me like a year probation. And
guess what? You had a 1 year probation. You were found guilty.
Okay.
Okay. So you want to be able to get a green card. And
no, I have a green card already.
When did you get the green card?
I get it from 2009 when I come up.
And when was this first arrest?
It's like after 5 years, because I come up 2009, it happened in 2014.
Okay, and then how many other times have you been arrested?
Arrested one more time. It was like a bridge to peace argument. People call police. We come out the same night. That's it. We wasn't getting no charge for this bridge to peace. That happened in 2017.
Okay, are you married to a U.S. citizen?
No, my father filed for me.
Okay. All right, so you need 5 years good moral character to become a citizen. All right? You have this one marijuana conviction. I don't know the amounts we're talking about. If it was a small amount, then...
Yeah, it was a small amount.
If it was less than 30 grams, it's not a deportable offense, although if you travel, you could have a problem. If it happened more than 5 years after you got your green card, that's even a bonus. You have a second arrest in 2017. Let's go with case was dismissed. I don't know if it was or not. Let's just go with it. All right?
Yeah.
So if it was dismissed in 2017, 5 years from the dismissal in 2017 would be some date in 2022. I would absolutely wait till 5 years and a day from the date of the dismissal. from the case in 2017. And that way, assuming your marijuana conviction was less than 30 grams, assuming that the 2017 conviction was dismissed, you have 5 years good moral character and no offenses that get you deported. You're going to become a U.S. citizen. What I would suggest you do, and I would suggest this to everybody, including you, Everton, is don't do anything until you see a lawyer who knows what he's doing or she is doing, and you show the lawyer your dispositions. The disposition is a letter from a court saying what you were arrested for and what you were found guilty of. Because you called on the show and says, I wasn't found guilty of something, and then you said I served probation. That's guilt. That's a sentence. So let's make sure.
The question did kind of confused. That's
yeah, of
why,
course.
you know?
No problem. No worries. Okay, you're not. You weren't born here in the U.S. and you're not a lawyer. So how would you be expected to know this stuff? So, but you need to get the dispositions. Let's take a look at it. But based on what you're telling me,
I got both of them.
Okay, based on what you're telling me, it sounds like you should be okay some date in the near future. But let's double and triple check it. Hold on one second, all right? Let's go to Bola in Atlanta. Bola.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. What about you?
Good.
Okay. I came in the United States October 2020, so that's 15 months now. I'm from the Republic of Benin. And I want to know that if I go back to my country now, will I be able to return with the same visa?
What kind of visa did you come here on?
I came here with the visiting visa.
And when did you come?
On October 2020.
And what is your status right now? Because we're now January 20. Did you overstay your visa?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a 3 years visa.
All right. So let me tell you a couple things about overstaying on a visa. Number one, once you overstay on a visa, that visa is no good anymore. Okay. Number two, if you overstayed on your visa and you've overstayed more than a year, which it sounds like you did, and you leave the United States, you can't come back for 10 years. Number three, I highly doubt, even after 10 years, they would give you a visa because they're going to say, you already overstayed once, you'll do it again. So you got a problem. Once you leave, your expectation should be you're not coming back.
So, okay. So, but when I came, at the airport, they put a stamp on my passport.
Right.
And they write the entry date, but they didn't put the day I should leave on the passport.
Okay.
Does that mean I can stay until the end of the visa?
No. It means that you never inquired when you have to leave. And that's not anyone's fault but your own. And generally it's 6 months.
6 months, okay.
All right. So you're basically undocumented. You overstayed your visa. If you leave, you're not coming back. As simple as that. Hold on. Mira in Atlanta, Georgia. Mira.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for everything.
My pleasure. What can I do to help you?
Okay, my friend was married to a U.S. citizen, and the husband filed for the stepchild. And after a few months, when they put in this thing for the child, immigration send the RFC. So when they send it to them, they say the birth certificate was not clear, and they send it back to immigration, and they got it. And this again, they say the birth certificate, like the child get it after 9 months after she was born, and the child is now 20. So they gave her some options. She was asking the best option because she says she's tired. She just want to choose whether she can just go for the DNA.
So the birth certificate was no good. So right.
Yeah,
so the best way to resolve it is blood. Take a DNA test because
she's asking whether
blood doesn't lie.
Yeah, she will not do that. She said the passport is good. They say it's not clear. They send the original.
I would do a DNA test and submit it with some affidavits.
Yeah, she said, oh, okay, the DNA should have affidavit.
I would submit an affidavit from two people that so-and-so is the mother. And if you don't believe us, we'll be willing to take a DNA test. Please provide instructions.
Okay, so those people who knows the lady, like they know her back home, should they be people from back home or from here?
Preferably from here, because it's more verifiable. But whatever. It sounds like you're going to need the help of an attorney at some point. Because you're going to get it screwed up and get denied, and now your daughter will be over 21 and won't be able to come anymore. So hold on one second. It's not like she's 6 years old, and if it doesn't work, you could try again and again. You really have this one opportunity, and that's it. So hold on one second. Let's go to Kay in Cincinnati.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Kay. How are you?
How you doing?
Good.
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Okay. Oh, Brad, I don't have any question, but I'm going to tell you that thank you for doing this show for us.
My pleasure.
It's a very great show.
Thank you.
And it has given me a lot of impact in the knowledge of immigration here in the U.S. I always share your page on my Facebook and then tell people back in my country to look at the Brad Show.
I appreciate it.
I'm urging everybody.
Thank you, Kay.
Everybody who is watching Brad Show to go on there and then call Brad for any immigration questions. Brad will do the best job for the person. So I just called to say, hey, Brad, you're doing a good job, and God bless you, and God bless your team for doing this good job for us.
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And your check will be in the mail. No, you're not checking the mail. We didn't pay you to do that. But that was really nice. Thank you. Thank you. It's really appreciated. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you.
All right, Brad.
Thank you for calling and waiting. You waited to say this too.
Yeah.
It's not like he just called. He spent 20 minutes on hold or whatever waiting to say this. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go to Jay in Honolulu. Hi, Jay.
Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
What's going on?
I want to bring my married a wife in Philippines. It's been here 3 years.
You married.
And I want to bring.
You married your wife in the Philippines. She's here. You want to bring her children, your stepchildren? Is that your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
She has 3 of them.
All right, so your wife has her green card already?
Yes.
And how old are the children?
Over 20 to 22.
20 to 22. Okay. One is twins?
No, 20, 21, 22.
Okay. So, when you got married, how long ago?
3 years ago.
All right. So the 20-year-old you should file for immediately. I assume you're a U.S. citizen. If you get the I-130 visa petition in before they turn 21, they will be an immediate relative. So you as the step-parent should file an I-130 visa petition for the 20-year-old. Make sure it goes in and is accepted before the 20-year-old turns 21. I'm just looking at the visa bulletin in a second. For the Philippines, the 21 and 22-year-olds are now over age. For the Philippines, it's still faster for you to file. That's March 1st, 2012. They're going to wait about 10 years because you're going to file for them after they turn 21. Now, you can file for the 2 older ones only if your marriage to your wife was before they were 18. And if you file for them as a stepfather, assuming you married your wife before they were 18, they're going to wait, unfortunately, about 10 years because they're filing after 21. That's why you want to get the 20-year-old in as soon as possible. If your marriage occurred after they turned 18, then your wife would file for them as a permanent resident, and it's similar wait, October 22nd, 2011 versus March 1st, 2012. You got to get I-130 visa petitions in.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What are you sorry about? Jay?
Well, Well, the reason why the youngest one, the 20-year-old, has a child.
Okay. How old is the child?
3 months.
If you file for the 20-year-old, the 20-year-old would be able to bring the child into the United States on her first entry on a parole, provided the child's under 2.
Okay.
And then when the child's here, she would file for her child.
Okay.
You need help. Hold on. Let's go to Bybeck in San Francisco.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening, sir. I'm from Nepal, and I came here in a B1, B2 visa in 2017. I put the asylum, and then I'm waiting a long time. And then just recently in November, my other attorney, they did the expedite, but still I don't get nothing. So is there anything to speed up to my asylum interview? Because
there's no such thing as expedite asylum interview. What you can do is file a mandamus, force the government to interview you. I've done that plenty of times. It's a lawsuit.
Lawsuit, okay.
Lawsuit. So that is what you do. You have a good case, we file a mandamus, you'll have an interview in 90 days.
Okay.
Hold on. That's what you
Thank
do.
you. Thank you.
Talk to your lawyer about a mandamus. Ali in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yes, Brad. My I-140 was approved on November 2nd, and later on November 4th, I got my receipt for my 485. But I just checked my I-140 says that even my biometrics is done, but my 140 says that your I-140 is approved. But as of now, you are at this time you are not eligible to file AOS, which is I-485. Even everything is done. Why is that so? And I'm not from India or anywhere else.
I don't know why that is. You're not from anywhere. Where are you from? From somewhere.
I'm from Pakistan.
You're from Pakistan. I don't know why that is. Pakistan, are you EB3, EB2?
Yeah, EB3, I guess. EB2, EB3.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Prior dates are current. I don't know why. Maybe it's an error. Have you spoken to your lawyer about this?
Yeah, he said it's a lawyer. I just want. Sorry. He said it's just an error. So I just wanted to make sure.
Sounds like it to me.
Okay.
Because you have a receipt. You have a receipt. You have a receipt for the I-45. That's the most important.
Yes, 485. Right. Yeah, I have it.
All right. All right. Good luck. Let me know if you get anything else.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Let's go to Manti in New York. Hi, Manti. Manti in New York. Monty.
Hey, hi, sir.
Hi, how are you? Good, how are you?
I'm good, sir. Sir, I filed my WAWA case in 2021, June, and then I after 2 weeks I received a prima facie letter, and I just want to know how long does take WAWA fully, and plus how long does it take for the
about 3 years.
3 years,
yeah.
And what about the work permits?
Well, did you file an adjustment too?
Yes, sir.
When was this? When was it done?
June 2021.
Should be getting it very shortly. I mean, you're
Okay,
6 months into it, 6 to 9 months.
And yeah, I received the prima facie.
Right. Yeah, you should be. I would say before the spring, you should have it.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Appreciate for the time, sir. Thank you. All right, bye.
Let's go to Claudette in Kingston.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. Brad, is there anything you can do to help? My husband filed for me, and I've been documentary qualified from 2020, and my son is aging out.
Is your husband a resident or a citizen?
Resident.
If your son is aging out, we should contact the U.S. Embassy and ask for an expedite. How long have you been documentarily qualified?
Since 2020, March.
Wow. Okay. I think it's time to contact the U.S. Embassy. Hold on 1 second. All right. Someone needs to rattle the wheels a little bit. That's how you do it. Hold on. I mean, not literally rattle the wheels, but it's more like the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Does that sound better?
Yes.
All right. I'm not going in there rattling them. Yeah. Just fine tuning.
Fine tuning.
Yeah. Daniel in Bogota.
Yeah. Hey, Brad.
Hey, how are you?
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, my question is pretty simple. My girlfriend is Burmese. She's in Colombia here with me. We were traveling. Her country had the coup. Now she can't go back because she's kind of a celebrity. So she.
Where is she from? Venezuela?
She opposed the coup. No, from Myanmar.
Oh, Myanmar. Okay. So
Yeah,
so she escaped to Colombia.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we were traveling, and when we were traveling in Colombia, the
coup happened.
The coup. Yeah.
Coup.
She can't go back because she opposed the coup. And a lot of celebrities were in jail because of that. So my question is, what's the best way to get her a U.S. asylum? Should we travel maybe to the U.S. border in Mexico?
Yes.
Should we apply in the U.S. Embassy here in Colombia?
Well, you can try to apply as a refugee in Bogota. That would be the first step. And then if you're rejected or you're having problems, the next step would be to go to the border.
All the way to Mexican border.
Yeah. Hold on one second. You're going to need help. Hold on.
Appreciate it.
All right. Let's go to Philip in Boston.
Hello, good night.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, Brad. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
I went to my naturalization interview like 2 Saturdays ago.
Right.
And I did the interview, the test, everything went well. But when the officer was entering my information, it would not take my nationality, and she had a problem entering it, so she had to put a help note on it, and she said because it was a Saturday, most government agent was closed, so she couldn't do anything about it, and I probably have to wait a couple weeks,
right,
4 to 6 weeks to see if anything come in the mail. But I was wondering, what could I do other than to sit and wait?
Unfortunately, you just got to sit and wait. After 120 days, if you haven't heard, they have 120 days to fix the problem. After 120 days, if you haven't heard, you can do a de novo review, which is going to federal court, threaten a de novo review. There's things you can do after 120 days. Before, it's just, unfortunately, you got to wait.
Okay, well, it's nothing unusual.
I mean, it's not usual that they don't know how to put in your nationality into a computer. I assume you come from a country where other people have come from.
Yes, I do.
Where are you from?
Jamaica.
Yeah, I would think that over time, some Jamaicans have become citizens before you, so they've been able to put everybody else in. I don't know what happened with you, but maybe it was just a computer error or whatever. But wait 120 days and see what happens.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, hang in there. Sam in Brooklyn.
Good evening, Brad.
Good evening. How are you?
Good. I just have 2 questions from my brother. The first one is they denied his application. I-130, his wife filed for him, so they denied the application and he's still working. You know, when they denied, they said they're going to revoke the work authorization. So is that going to be a violation in the future when they get married or you want to file again?
Well, as long as you're married to a U.S. citizen, whatever undocumented work you do or unauthorized work you do is forgiven. So, if you're going to refile again based on marriage to a U.S. citizen, the fact that you continue to work is not going to be a reason to deny you. A reason to deny you is you don't live with your wife and have a financial relationship. That's the reason why they don't believe it's a real marriage.
Okay. Secondly, is how long, when you remarry to someone else, how long do you need to wait before you can submit the application?
The next day. But if you're going to get remarried to a new person, the first marriage still is in play. They're going to want to know, hey, was this a real one? The first marriage real, and what about the second one?
Okay.
All right, but the answer is yes. It will. The fact that you worked undocumented or unauthorized is not a reason to deny you. Reason to deny you is you don't live with your wife and you don't have a financial relationship. That's how they determine what's a bona fide marriage.
All right.
Okay?
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Brianna in New York. Brianna.
Hey, Mr. Brad, how are you?
How are you?
I'm okay. I have a few questions.
Yes.
My husband was deported, and we did file a waiver. We got our 212 approved, and then we are currently at the NVC for visa processing.
What was the
But my
waiver that you
question-
got? The 212 waiver?
We got that approved.
Why was your husband deported?
Overstayed.
Okay. How long did he overstay?
10 years.
Okay. So when did he get deported?
2019, May 2019.
All right, so he's going to need a second waiver at the embassy after he gets denied for unlawful presence for more than 1 year. So he's going to need a 601 waiver as well.
So are we not able to go ahead and file that now, but we have to wait for him to get denial?
Yeah, you have to wait on the denial. You can only do it provisionally if you're physically in the U.S., but he's not physically in the U.S.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the thing is, right?
Yeah.
Before he got deported, we did file that along when we got our I-130 approved. We filed the 601 along with the.
Is it approved?
No, it was not approved. Listen, we filed the 601 along with the 485, and then that's when they came after him and he got him deported.
I see.
So when he got deported, and then I filed 212, and that got approved like last June, and then we are currently at the NVC.
Yeah. So when he gets an interview, he'll be denied again for the unlawful presence, and you would have to do a 601 waiver. Now, you needed a 601 waiver also when you did an adjustment. Was that for a fraud? For misrepresentation?
Repeat that one more time.
Why did you do a 601 waiver for the adjustment?
We were advised.
Why?
He was under removal proceeding.
Why?
And then he got for overstaying his visa.
But there was no fraud.
There was no fraud. No, sir.
So why, if he overstayed, what kind of visa did he come here on?
B1, B2.
How did he get deported?
Okay, so in 2008...
That blows my mind, because if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you don't have a criminal record,
no,
you should be able to adjust your status.
Yes, sir. That's what I thought too. But apparently we were supposed to file with a judge for them to reopen his removal case.
Right.
But we went ahead and... Yeah, but we did not do that. We went ahead and filed the 485 along with the 601 waiver.
You file an I-130 only, you get a bona fide marriage exemption, you reopen the deportation.
Yes, so we did not reopen the deportation. We went the other route, so that's when he ended up getting deported.
Sure,
Does that make
I
sense?
understand. Okay, you just did the wrong process.
Yes, we did.
All right, so he's going to need a 601 waiver at the embassy.
Okay, so
I hope you have a good lawyer this time around.
Yeah, yes, sir. And the one that we did when he was here, they sent me an email. When I checked the status, they say that it has been.
Forget about that. It's done.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. So what about the 485? It says
done.
It's currently.
It's done.
Okay.
Done.
Yeah.
Put a fork in it. You have an I-130. You got a 212 waiver. He goes to the embassy. He'll be denied. Then you do a 601 waiver for the unlawful presence.
Wow.
That process. That is the only process you do. And Brianna, even to this moment, several years into it, you still don't know the right process you're doing. So I'm shocked that you're telling me. I said, you need a good lawyer. You're like, yeah, I got a great lawyer. Then why the hell are you calling me and you still don't know the process? You don't.
Gotcha.
Hold on. I'm glad you do now. Hold on. Van in New York.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, good night. I'd like to ask two questions, brother. How are you?
Good, great.
Okay, if you have a green card and you were charged for robbery and they bring it down to criminal mischief misdemeanor, is it deportable?
Where did this happen? In New York?
Yeah.
All right, so criminal mischief misdemeanor. Did you go to jail?
Oh, they're not sending the person to jail. They say criminal mischief.
Okay, as long as there's no jail time, it's a misdemeanor. And that's his.
They're bringing the charge down
Let
to
me ask you a question,
misdemeanor.
man. Is this the first conviction?
No.
He has more?
Yeah.
Then it could be deportable.
The
'cause he could-
person have a youthful offender.
Okay, youthful offender's not deportable. This is a petty offense, so this would be his first conviction.
Right.
So it's a
Let
petty
me
offense,
read
so
this.
he would not get deported. But I'm
It said,
concerned. I'm concerned for this person because he has a youthful offender. He got arrested again. He's got to get his life straightened out, or he's going to do the third time. He's not going to get the same luck.
This thing is saying petty larceny misdemeanor probation.
This thing I'm telling you is a misdemeanor with no jail time, is a petty offense. A juvenile.
Yeah, but it's two
Listen
charges.
to me. A juvenile. It is a petty offense. You don't get deported. A juvenile delinquency, if it's a juvenile delinquency, is not a crime. So
No, the person is 28.
what words coming out of my mouth are you not understanding? You called me up and you asked me, is this person going to get deported? And I say, how many times has he been arrested? You say 1 time. I say, what was it for? This misdemeanor. I said, did he go to jail? You said no. I said, if it's a misdemeanor and it's a theft offense and no jail time, and this is his only arrest, he doesn't get deported on that. And then you said, oh, wait a second, he has a juvenile delinquency. And I said, okay, that's not a conviction. Still only 1 petty offense. And now you're saying, but wait. There's no but wait. There's my answer.
No, it's what the lawyer writes and tell me. He said I should ask criminal mischief misdemeanor if it's deportable and petty larceny misdemeanor probation.
And you need a consultation. Hold on. Meanwhile, if you didn't get your immigration questions asked and answered, you could always drop me a. Lost my train of thought there for a second. Meanwhile, if you didn't get your immigration questions asked and answered, you could always drop me a line on Instagram. Not a line. They don't do dropping lines anymore.
Drop a DM, a comment.
Drop a DM.
Yeah. Drop a DM.
Yeah.
I mean, it is dropping the line too, because a line, a sentence.
Yeah. I mean, that's more like leave a voice message, maybe. Drop me a DM on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein. Be happy to answer your immigration questions as best as I can. You can also follow us at Brad Show Live on Instagram. You follow us at Brad Show Live on Instagram. You get the best 30 seconds of us, 45 seconds, 1 minute, and little biteable tidbits. And of course, you can always follow us on social media on TikTok at Brad Show Live. Yeah. TikTok.
Viral
videos galore on TikTok from Brad Show Live.
Yes.
You can ask your questions in the comments or in the question and answer section. And if you're lucky enough, I get so many, I can't answer them all now.
Right.
But if you're lucky enough to get your immigration question answered by me, you will get a personalized video from me answering your question for the world to see. Yo.
Yep, and you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And later in the show, we're going to hear the second part of my conversation with Alejandra and Temo Juarez. Despite being a military couple with 2 U.S. citizen children, Alejandra was deported to Mexico in 2018 under Donald Trump's zero-tolerance policy. Alejandra returned to America in May of 2021 after being granted humanitarian parole. We'll talk about her case, how her deportation affected the family, and her next steps.
And in this VIP outtake, Brad speaks with Syrian visual artist Rashwan Abdelbaki about what he realized as he went through the process of obtaining a U.S. green card.
When I applied for my green card, I was asking myself, who is the guy who will decide that I don't know where he is or she is, whether Rashwan will get the green card or not.
I'm going to tell you something. That's a really amazing point. You have this unknown person,
exactly,
in an unknown location that you don't meet, that you don't know their name, you don't know anything about them. And they decide everything about your life. Your life changes completely if you're granted a green card.
Exactly.
All right, we got some problems, issues, comments on social media.
We
Yo-Yo.
sure do.
He's been scouring the comments. Let's do it.
Social media check-in.
Told ya!
Right. Oh!
There we go.
All right. You know we do that every single time that happens. All right, come to me. All right.
There you go.
All right, Bent Usman, a Facebook VIP member. Got a bar for 5 years. It's been 2 years now, and I'm now married to a U.S. citizen. When I was told I could get a waiver, my lawyer told me to submit a FOIA request because I didn't receive some form that tells me why I'm being barred and having my visa taken away. I submitted the FOIA to the Department of Homeland Security. They told me the info I seek falls under USCIS. Submitted a FOIA to Custom and Border Protection and USCIS, to which they both say they're not seeking any records of my removal, deportation from the U.S. Now, what could be the issue? How can I get these filed? Because I was stopped and questioned at the airport on my third visit, to which they resorted to take my visa.
Well, it sounds like one of two things. Either number one, you have a summary inadmissibility, and that's usually for some sort of fraud or criminal records. So if you don't have the criminal record, then they're going to say fraud. Either you were coming to work on a visa you weren't entitled to work on, or something else. So you have to figure out what the underlying reason for them taking away the visa is. There was some reason why they didn't want you to come into the U.S. It wasn't just because you smiled incorrectly at them. So we got to figure out the underlying reason. That underlying reason is a separate bar to admission, along with the 5-year bar for summary inadmissibility. So ultimately, when people have this summary inadmissibility at the airport, you're ending up looking at 2 waivers. One for the deportation at the airport, and the other one for the reason why you were deported, whether it was, criminal records or misrepresentation or whatever it may be. Customs and Border Patrol has these records. Why they don't have it, according to you, I have no idea. Maybe you're doing it wrong. I think if your lawyer says you should get these records, you're with the wrong lawyer. Go to a lawyer that'll get the records for you.
All right, we have Abraham, a Facebook VIP member in Eastvale, California. I got my green card for 2 years. I sent a form for a change of address and got a confirmation number for AR-11. Now, is there any other form I need to fill in for the change of address, or another department that I have to send one to? Because I got another request in an email this time as well, asking for the change of address.
No. That's it. AR-11, you're done. Unless you want to change your driver's license.
Okay. And Lisa Lee Frater, VIP Facebook member. My husband wants to file for my kids, which are his stepkids, but my daughter's biological dad's name is not on her birth paper. Will it be a problem, or do I have to get it on before filing?
No, because the stepdad's filing, so it has nothing to do with the biological dad. What it has to do with is, are you the biological mom? Is your name on the birth certificate? And were you married to the stepfather who's petitioning before the child's 18th birthday?
Okay, Jennifer Evans on Facebook. I'm waiting on my 10-year green card. I've been married for 4 years. When can I file for citizenship?
When did you get your green card? Which we don't have that answer.
So waiting on the 10-year green card.
We don't know when she got her green card. It's 3. If you're in a bona fide marriage with your spouse and you're waiting on the 10-year card, and you already have the 2-year card, if you've been waiting on the 10-year card and you have now conditional residence status is more than 3 years has gone, you can file for your citizenship now.
Okay, Khalif Muhammad on Facebook. What happens if your parents were illegally deported over 20 years ago?
Why were they illegally deported?
Daryl Winnabaugh on YouTube. A friend has a pending COS to F1 yet to be approved, but got married to a green card holder who is applying for her citizenship in March. Can she add him to his tax filing, joint filing?
she can add him and file jointly for sure. But if he's working without authorization, which probably he doesn't have because he's changing from B2 to F1, then he's violated his status, and then you would have to wait on the wife to become a citizen before you file the adjustment. If he's approved for the change of F1, after he's approved for the change of F1, if the wife's not a citizen yet and he hasn't violated his status in any way, she can do the adjustment right away.
All right. Claudette Fisher on Facebook. What can be done for LPR filing for spouses abroad who have been waiting for a consular interview date since 2020?
You gotta annoy the hell out of the embassy. Squeaky wheel gets the oil.
CE user on YouTube. Can a work-based green card applicant adjust their status while in the USA while their dependents abroad, spouses, children, process their papers abroad consular?
The answer is yes, but you have to adjust your status first, and then everything gets transferred abroad for your children to follow joint.
Okay, Sunita Singh on YouTube. I applied for a U visa in 2018. Any update on what year I'm getting my U visa?
2026.
Okay, last one. Dwayne Gordon on YouTube. Please expand on the I-601 waiver and what happens if the person goes overseas and the immigrant visa is denied at the embassy.
You're talking about an I-601A, which would be the provisional waiver. That is a waiver to overcome the 3 and 10 year bars for unlawful presence. So if you're not eligible to adjust your status here and you get an immigrant visa appointment in another country and you leave the United States without this waiver and you've been undocumented for 180 days, you would have a 3-year bar. And if you've been undocumented for a year, you would have a 10-year bar. So you don't want to go home and be stuck for 3 or 10 years. That would stink. So you do this waiver before you leave. It's all done while you're physically present in the United States. It's based on extreme and unusual hardship to your lawful resident spouse or U.S. citizen spouse, or your lawful permanent resident mother or father, or U.S. citizen mother or father. It's not based on hardship to your children, unfortunately. So you file, you get the visa petition approved, you start processing at the National Visa Center. If you're not eligible to adjust your status here, to avoid the 10-year bar when you go home, you then file an I-601A provisional waiver, again based on extreme and unusual hardship to spouse or parent. You get it approved. Now you're free to go home, and they cannot prevent you from returning because you overstayed on your visa, which is why most people get stuck.
All right.
Oh, that's it?
Yep.
Was that expanded enough?
I think it was.
All right. Alejandra Juarez was deported to Mexico in 2018 under Donald Trump's zero-tolerance policy, despite her husband Temo being a U.S. Marine, having 2 U.S. citizen children and no criminal record. Alejandra's case made headlines and was even showcased during the 2020 Democratic National Convention. She returned to America in May of 2021 after being granted humanitarian parole. Alejandra, Temo, and I spoke about her case, her deportation, and her next steps. Let's watch. After living almost 20 years in America with no criminal record, Alejandra Juarez was deported to Mexico on August 3rd, 2018, under former President Donald Trump's zero-tolerance policy, despite being married to a United States Marine and having 2 American-born children. Alejandra's story made headlines, was showcased in a Netflix documentary, and was told by her youngest daughter, Estella, at the Democratic National Convention in August of 2020. On May 3rd, 2021, Alejandra returned to the United States after the Department of Homeland Security granted her a temporary reprieve known as humanitarian parole. She's now back home with her family in Central Florida, reunited with her husband, Cuauhtémoc, also known as Temo, and daughters Pamela, 20, and Estella, 12. I spoke with Alejandra in 2018 after her deportation. Alejandra and Temo are with me today to discuss Alejandra's case, her deportation, her happiness in being returned to the United States of America, and her next steps moving forward. Welcome and congratulations to you, and welcome back. 3 years too long outside of the United States. I know everybody on our show and at my office, we're very happy to hear the news that you returned. So that's fabulous news, and congratulations to you and your family.
Thank you, Mr. Brad. Thank you for having us today.
Thank you, Brad.
And so let's take a look back at what happened in 2018 after we had spoken and you were deported to Mexico.
As I was arriving to Mexico, I prayed to God to let me die. You know, I kept praying for my airplane to fall off, for something to happen, so that I wouldn't stay in Mexico, because to me it was unthinkable.
Most of Americans, Mr. Brand, know that this was wrong. No military family should be separated again. And it needs to be fixed not only for me, for all the veterans, or all the spouses that have been deported. They need to be returned to this country.
And by the way, when you say your husband served the military, you served the military too. Because
Exactly.
if you didn't exist, your husband couldn't go to Iraq to represent the United States, to put his life on the line, because he would have nobody to watch his children and take care of his family. You gave him the ability to go serve. Without you,
Exactly.
that wouldn't happen.
Exactly.
Now, Estella read a letter to Donald Trump. That's your daughter, 12 years old, right?
Yes.
At the time, in 2020, she was 11 years old when she read the letter at the Democratic National Convention. How did she get to read a letter at the Democratic National Convention to Donald Trump?
She's the one that told me, I know when President Biden hears this letter, he's going to bring you back. She was like, Mom, I know you're coming back.
How did she get chosen to read the letter?
I believe a producer watched the documentary. She was part of the Biden's campaign team. And she reached out to me and asked us if we wanted to participate. And, and she knew that she wrote a letter. And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem.
And she reached out to you when you were in Mexico?
Yes.
That must have been strange. Somebody for the President of the United States of America is asking a deportee to have her daughter, who's in the United States, who you can't even see, participate in the Democratic National Convention in the presidential campaign.
Well, you know what I think the thing about my story is most of Americans support military families. It doesn't settle with them good, the fact that I got deported. So I think they knew that my story was, perfect example of how the last president treated certain immigrants the wrong ways.
It is very rare that somebody comes back in your situation without the publicity that you've garnered, which is great for you and sad for others who can't get it.
A lot of the cases that we know and we're familiar, some of them, they don't want to go public. They're afraid to go to the press, to talk to the press, because they will get, trace, or they will get ostracized a little bit. We took some of the heat, especially me saying, oh, that's what he gets for voting for Trump. And obviously I read him, but I didn't took no mind of it. I just focused on, making my wife and my family, make it less stressful as possible, so we can keep working, and that's what got us back. Keep working at it, and don't lose faith, and never give up.
I agree with you. I think anybody who wants to get their family back needs publicity, especially when the law doesn't allow it. Now, Estella, your youngest, the one who spoke at the National Democratic Convention, she has now written a children's book about deportation through the eyes of a child titled Until Someone Listens. How did she come up with that idea to write a children's book?
I think it was her way to heal, because I was too emotionally depressed. So that was her way to get her feelings out. And she said, Mom, I've been looking for a book to read that helped me, and there's no books out there that can help little kids. So she says, I want to write a book about little kids, how they feel when the parents get deported. And, I told her, just keep writing. One day, I'm sure you're going to have the opportunity to let it out. So yeah, after the video came out, we got reached out by a publisher asking Estella if she wanted to write a book.
Wow. Wow. And she did it.
It's coming back actually next year. I believe it's in November.
All right, great. Yep. Now, how did the deportation affect you physically, mentally?
That's something that I don't think I will never be able to heal. I am not even half of the person that I used to be before. It messes you up so much psychologically, not only me, my kids, and my husband. I am seeking the assistance of a therapist, and I hope that one day I'll become the half of the person that I was before.
Temo, you want to talk also about how it affected you?
Emotionally, it destroys you. They're even separating, seeing your daughters missing their mom, and especially Pamela stay with me. And obviously, having her mom, she's more attached to her, having her advice, and being her when she comes back from school. All that came into play, and also no seeing them when I'm separating. The financial hardship too, trying to provide for two households, and wonder how we're going to make it. It takes a toll on you. It takes a toll on the family. It does. It does leave you scarred, definitely. Well, obviously, it's happiness was. And I keep telling her, just keep working, keep contacting people, asking questions, and one day I'm gonna come back from you, and you're gonna be in the plane with me. And that's what happened. I told her, you just keep pushing, don't give up.
How's it been for your kids? How's it been since you've been home?
Oh, obviously, those you change the relationship, but we have become stronger. We have closer. I think we can handle things a little better, especially with the press. At the beginning, it was hard for her, especially for her, because to adjust back at home. For me, just watching her, trying to help her as much as I can to get adjusted to her routine. For me, it was easier because I'm back at work, and now she's with the daughters, and I feel better. But for her, it's a little different.
Alejandra, you came home right before Mother's Day, and you posted on your Facebook page. I have a quote here. "Thank you, Lord, for letting me wake up this Mother's Day in my home with my family. This was a miracle. If you are struggling with something that you know only a miracle can help, I am here to tell you that someone is waiting to hear from you."
Yes, it was a miracle, and it still is a miracle. A lot of people reach out to me and they tell me their case like I'm an immigration lawyer, and they ask me if they think they have a solution, and I say, I am not an immigration lawyer. I can refer you to a good one, which is to you. But what I can tell you is, like, if I have a life sentence and I'm back, so you can.
Nearly 6 million U.S. citizens live with an immediate family member who's undocumented. That's the statistics. I think it's a lot more, which means millions of families, including people who are watching this show right now, across the United States of America, live with the constant threat of being separated, just like you, unless Congress passes some sort of pathway to citizenship for the undocumented immigrants currently living in the United States. You know firsthand that there was no law for you to follow. And that goes for a lot of people. There's no law to follow for them to straighten themselves out. What do you tell people in this situation who are looking at you right now?
Well, my hope, Mr. Brett, is that the laws change. We have a president now in power that I believe has the power and the tools and the right people to change the law. Do you believe that the immigration laws can be changed now?
Do I believe it's going to be changed?
Yeah.
No.
You don't believe so?
I don't believe so. They may be changed to do a parole status, which perhaps could help you, but giving an amnesty for 11 million people, not at the moment. Based on what's going on in Congress at this very moment, I don't foresee it happening. Based on what I see and read, unless something drastic happens, and something drastic could happen. But right now, the Democrats are barely clinging to power, unfortunately. And more unfortunately, the tide looks like it's turning towards Republicans taking over Congress in 2022. And I don't think the Democrats want to go too progressive and, change anything that could make a tidal wave against them. But that's my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. You both have led both the American dream and the American nightmare. You've had both.
All right.
Hopefully, it's sweet dreams moving forward and the nightmares behind us.
Yeah.
What is your sweet American dream for the future?
That I have my wife and my daughters together for a long time, and just keep working towards it, keep reaching, keep asking questions. So hopefully we can find the right answer to, so we can be together as a family. So I can still continue to work for my family as hard as I can.
And Alejandra?
I see dream, Mr. Brett, is that a legal path to citizenship. The one day I wake up and somehow a miracle happened and President Biden is able to find a path for legal citizenship for everyone that doesn't have a criminal record.
Alejandra, where can people follow you if they want to see what's going on in your life and learn more about your case and what happens in the future?
I basically have my Facebook blog. It's called Alejandra Juarez, and I usually post, very often post stuff about it. And I also have a YouTube page called Hope After Deportation. So they can find me over there if they want to learn more about my story.
Alejandra, you're struggling with something that you know only a miracle can help. I'm here to tell you that someone is waiting to hear from you. So just because I think it's not going to happen, miracles happen. You are a perfect example. We're talking to you in the United States. You asked me 2 years ago, would you be back today? I would have said no.
Yeah, I know.
I would have said no way. And here you are, and it's a miracle. So miracles happen.
Yes.
So we never know.
Exactly. We never know.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
so
Brett.
much.
Miracles do happen.
Yeah.
They really do. So we have speed round.
Yep.
9 more questions. We're ready to go do it?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Hello.
I'm almost on mute, but let's do it before my battery runs out.
Let's do it. Count me down, Jelly. Can a U.S. citizen with a criminal record petition AOS for his undocumented spouse?
Yes.
Can I use my father's company's bank account as proof of funds for an F1 visa?
Sure.
What's an ESTA?
That's a visa waiver.
If I get a 10-year green card, can I file for my undocumented parents?
No, you have to be a citizen.
On a student visa, can I marry a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
How long will it take for I-360 approval?
For a VAWA case, at least 3 years.
If undocumented, can you travel domestically with a permit and passport?
Yes.
Any way to expedite a work permit?
Yes.
I am a citizen. Can I file for my siblings?
Yes.
Oh, let's go again. I'm on a J1 visa. Can I get my green card if I marry my American girlfriend?
Yes.
I mean, I don't even have any more extra. Like, woo!
Call Guinness!
Woo!
Just call Guinness! Just give Guinness a call!
Come on!
Give Guinness a call! Most legal questions answered in 1 hour. I bet you I can do it.
In 1 hour? Woo.
Yeah, can you read off? You wouldn't be able to read off. We'd have to switch back and forth. We'd have to switch back and forth.
I'd have to have somebody we'd have to have like somebody next to us with like water.
No, but it would be like you ask 10, then someone else 10, then another 10 that keeps going back.
Yeah.
Probably answer. So what we do? We did 15 and we've probably done 15 in a minute, 12 in a minute. So 100.
That definitely would be
like over 1,000 legal questions answered in 1 hour or something. I bet you that's a record somewhere.
Let's
something we can do.
We can do this.
Yeah. All right, comments of the day.
All right, guys. Our first comment of the day comes from Jessica Leamy, Joelle Davis saying, if that goldfish is able to drive, I'm going to just go into hibernation.
That's funny. I like that.
I actually laughed at that earlier. I saw that.
Yeah.
All right, our second comment of the day comes from Denisha Joseph saying, I have my Brad cup and nobody can drink from it because everyone knows that I don't play with my Brad cup. My cup is priceless.
Wow.
Dang. So,
cheers, Denisha. Cheers.
Denisha. I'm the same way about my Brad cup too.
Yeah. And our last one.
We actually have 2 more.
Oh, 2 more.
Yes. We have third one. Comes from Frederica Weeks saying, such great advice, Mr. Bernstein. You are the best there is.
Aw, thank you.
Yes.
Aw, thank you.
And our last one comes from Rosie Joy saying, good evening to the squad team. Brad, I just want you to know that your show is so amazing, and I thank you so much for your assistance to offer to thousands of people out there. Big up yourself, Brad Squad.
Right.
Big up yourself.
Big up yourself, everybody. Where do you think she's from, huh? Big up yourself.
Japan.
No, Jamaica.
Jamaica.
All right, we got some Yo-Yo's favorite day tomorrow, Tuesday. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465.